Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, is in Seattle, where Vincentians are transforming lives through a supportive, trusting, and empowering community.
After-school activities, just one vibrant part of this family success center. I'm Trace Trolko in Louisville. The story just ahead on Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
And we're in Austin to show you how Vincentians are helping people avoid falling victim to predatory payday lenders. These stories are just some examples of the good works of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul across the United States.
Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul.
You're looking at the iconic Space Needle in Seattle, Washington, built in 1962 for the World's Fair and one of the most recognizable sights in the world. Millions of people visit every year, looking at the Emerald City from the observation deck, some 520 feet up. Welcome to Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul. I'm your host, Paul Boron. Seattle and King County's growing Latino population has provided the society here with a unique opportunity, meeting community needs while providing a model on how to serve a diverse population in a truly Vincentian way.
They're interested enough in being here in this country that they want to be able to exist in it and be part of it.
Rodrigo Baron is an instructor at Centro Rendu in Kent, Washington. The Latino Services and Program Center, a part of the Society of St. Vincent de Paul of Seattle and King County, takes its name from Blessed Rosalie Rendu, a daughter of charity. Baron works with the Latino community that continues to grow. Centro Rendu sits at the heart of South King County, where Latinos make up some 20% of the population. He's a teacher by trade whose parents were immigrants. Now he works with immigrants, teaching English as a second language to Spanish speakers.
The folks that come here are trying to learn the survival conversational English.
Rufina Santana is a student at Centro Rendu. Her schooling ended in Mexico at age 12 when her mother died. Now Santana is working to complete her education with an eye toward the future.
I was thinking maybe teacher or daycare or something like that, or interpreter, but I need to, learn more English for that.
Santana has two children, one of whom also comes to Centro Rendu, which means this mom and her kids are oftentimes working on homework together.
My older kid, he said, "Ma, are you doing homework too?" I said, "Yeah, let's do it together." And then sometimes he don't want to do it, and then I say, "I can do it too." And then we both do homework. So I said, "Ma, I can beat you." We have fun doing it sometimes.
Susana Manriquez teaches at Centro Rendu and says the balancing act between raising a family and taking classes is one of the biggest challenges her students face.
También el proceso es complicado.
The process sometimes is very difficult. The journey is tough for many of them because they have to work. They have to provide for their families while also trying to come to class. Many of them become discouraged because it becomes very difficult. My goal is when they come in to not let them go, to continue calling them and encouraging and motivating them to come back, to make sure that they finish, connect them with resources that they may need, services they may need, to make sure that they complete their goal.
Founded in 2013, Centro Rendu helps protect and support Latino immigrant families through education, legal advocacy, and social services.
The Catholic Latino community is growing. They have multiple needs, but there's a certain fear of going into public agencies. In a sense, we asked, would you come to St. Vincent de Paul? They said yes.
Vincentian Miriam Munoz, who helped design Centro Rendu and now serves as executive director for the society in Seattle and King County, says Centro Rendu offers a sense of connection and trust within the community.
We don't consider ourselves a social service agency. We consider ourselves, we're journeying with others. We are here, we're walking with people, and the way in which we engage is very personal. person to person, and very personable.
Compelled to action by the convictions of our founders, St. Vincent de Paul of Seattle, King County, joins a community to listen, engage, and build relationships that assist and advocate for individuals and families to meet basic needs and achieve stability and self-sufficiency.
That mission statement hangs on the wall at Centro Rendu, where social worker Maria Jimenez works as a program manager. She says seeing people succeed makes her career far more rewarding.
I think it's really nice and rewarding when we celebrate our graduates, our individuals who started from learning how to read and write to going through elementary and middle school education and then attaining their high school diploma and seeing them walk through to receive that diploma. That's, amazing feeling. That's the reason why I wake up every morning to come here. Yeah. It's amazing. I know that my life mission as a social worker was to strive for social justice.
Social justice is another key component of Centro Rendu's work in the community. Lawyer Mary Beth Sheehan volunteers at the center and offers free consultations regarding immigration and legal status. She says being someone who families can trust is a big part of what she does for the society.
To be able to come in here to a legitimate organization with good staff and resources and to be able to sit down and hear accurate information in a language that they understand is crucial.
Centro Rendu has really been a great support in helping educate these families in what they can do, how to plan ahead, how to be able to have support both through immigration lawyers, notaries. They've brought Consejo, which is one of our big therapy and counseling centers here in Seattle, to help these families deal with all the anxiety and all the psychological issues that arise from that and other situations that they've had from the past.
Vincentian Dulce Casanova, who works as pastoral assistant for Hispanic ministry at St. Anthony Catholic Church in Renton, has seen success stories at Centro Rendu and believes what they do is making a difference in an underserved population in the Seattle area.
Centro Rendu has been a great support in helping those folks obtain their certificates for elementary school, middle school, high school, and even computer classes. And that has helped with the parents, especially being able to support their children with homework.
Father Jack Schrun with St. Anthony Catholic Church says Centro Rendu and the Catholic Church are a safe haven for the Latino community.
As our Lord said so many times throughout the gospel, be not afraid. And so as we walk into the church, right, to dispel that fear, as we focus on the hope that His life, His light gives to us. Once one person is helped, they spread the word, and so that begins to spread. Just as love begets love, so this charity begets more charity, and so I would encourage anybody thinking about it, or St. Vincent de Paul Society, to work to continue to spread the work of Centro Rendu.
Those who are served by Centro Rendu, like Laura Navarro, who is taking computer classes, are deeply grateful for the help they're receiving.
People is always nice and always here to cheer you up when you're down and help you when you're struggling. So that's really good, because when you have a low day and you came here, it just brightens your day, Everyone's friendly and kind to everyone, and really helpful to us, because they just give us a bunch of resources and things going on around the area.
The work going on at Centro Rendu is so important to Seattle's Latino community. Munoz believes there is need for programs like this throughout the United States.
It's doable. I think it's replicable, and I think there are pockets across the nation who need Centro Rendu and St. Vincent de Paul to have a response that is culture specific to the Latino community.
As a Catholic, I would say look to the Bible. And Jesus was an immigrant. He had to flee his home country. His parents took him to Egypt to escape all the unrest that was happening there. So I would say just look at the example that we have there through Mama Mary and St. Joseph. where they had to leave to give their child a better future. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have what we have here as Catholics. And second of all, they're our brothers and sisters. And that's the root of our Catholic faith, is to help each other and love each other.
Several hundred people have graduated from Central Rendu with a high school diploma, positively impacting thousands of lives along the way. Now coming up, art, music, and hoops. These kids are enjoying after-school activities and getting their homework completed too. Family success thanks to caring Vincentians when Our Faith in Action, Today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul returns.
The Society of St. Vincent de Paul offers a lay vocation for you to grow in your spirituality. Betty has been a faithful parishioner for years. Once she found the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, she strengthened her Catholic faith through home visits and shared prayer and fellowship with other Vincentians. Vincentians grow closer to God through our service to people in need. Would you like to grow in your spiritual development? Contact us at svdpusa.org.
We're now inside the St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank and Community Service Center in Seattle. This society started here in 1920. More than 50 conferences provide assistance to some 50,000 people every year, including nearly 1 million pounds of food at this location. After school and year-round, Vincentians in Louisville are providing a haven for at-risk kids. It's called the Family Success Center. Trace Trilko shows us how it's helping children and their families.
It's another busy day at the St. Vincent de Paul Family Success Center in Louisville, Kentucky. After-school activities for kids, programs for adults, there's a lot going on.
I just come here, just play basketball till my brother gets here, and then after that, when the program starts, we eat, and then we wait for the teachers to come here, so like whatever lesson they want to be taught, we learn that lesson. And some lessons are music, art, cooking, and after we get done with that lesson, we usually just do homework for the rest of the time and then get picked up.
As a way to help bring Christ's love to people in need, the Society's Louisville Council added the Family Success Center as a companion to its wide array of services. Caseworker Angel Russell says the center complements the Society's programs by providing educational and social development opportunities for at-risk children who have experienced extreme poverty and homelessness.
We have a women's recovery center, Ozanam in men's shelter, a food pantry, a clothes closet. We are just serving the people in this community who need it most, especially the children with this Family Success Center.
13-year-old Latrell Turner enjoys the variety of activities which range from science and technology to robotics and sports.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. I learned cooking, volleyball and soccer, and floor hockey, and those are my favorite.
This specially equipped kitchen serves as a training ground for teaching culinary skills. A hot meal is also served here daily at the Kids Cafe. On today's menu, chicken Alfredo, garlic bread, watermelon, and chocolate milk.
They come in and they do various activities to enrich them. We give them a hot meal, and then they do homework help.
Another goal of the center is to engage and empower the parents of the young students. Latrell's mother, Kelly Burton, appreciates the society's support.
Miss Angel, she is so, like my caseworker, she is so supportive. Like, if anything, like I need, like tool-wise, or they help me furnish my house when I didn't really have no money. She was able to help me, like either dig up resources, food boxes. Like I wouldn't know what to do without St. Vincent de Paul. They helped me so much.
Through supportive services, Vincentians and volunteers look to help people help themselves, recognizing first they often need a helping hand or two to get stable.
So far I came in with my own tools. I already had a job. They helped me with getting a house for my children and helped me with like the rent and stuff.
Angel believes the Society's Family Success Center's work makes a big difference in many lives.
Yes, and especially seeing the younger generation when we're trying to work towards breaking that generational poverty. So just seeing them every day and being a part of making a difference in their lives and breaking a cycle that may have been there for a really long time is really a beautiful thing, and it's a really powerful thing as well.
Janet Bowman is another person who has been touched by the Family Success Center. The society helped Janet with housing, and now she gives back to the center by volunteering her time. She feels good about supporting its mission.
My whole life, I've always believed in giving back. My mom instilled that. I've done volunteer work my whole life.
Kelly appreciates how the staff and volunteers live out the Vincentian charism of treating people with dignity.
I cried to her, with different situations that's going on, but talking to her and talking to Miss Stephanie and talking to Mr. Julio and Miss Kate, I just feel comfortable like they're my family.
Angel sees the impact the Vincentians' person-to-person approach has on her neighbors in the community.
They're struggling and they're trying, and a lot of people feel very beat down when they're trying and they still can't get a leg up. And I feel like St. Vincent de Paul and the services that it offers gives those families hope and really makes them feel like there is somebody out there to help them when they're trying.
Latrell's time spent at the Family Success Center has made a difference in his schoolwork.
Yeah, because sometimes they give me work that challenges me so I can be ahead in school.
And how are you doing in school?
All A's actually.
The Family Success Center truly feels like family.
I love them and I appreciate everything that y'all do for me.
Hope and opportunity, and for those helped by the society in Louisville, one family success story after another. For Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, I'm Trace Trolka.
Thanks, Trace. The Family Success Center offers programs during spring break and summer vacation as well. Now, just ahead, a $1,200 loan with an additional $3,500 in interest. It almost happened to this Austin man until Vincentians stepped in and rescued him from the clutches of a payday lender. His story, when Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, continues.
I don't think I chose to be a Vincentian. It chose me, and that was based on my conversion to Catholicism. And my sponsor said to me, I've got just the mission for you. And I didn't know what a Vincentian was, and I didn't realize that was going to be my mission, but it has become my passion.
Outside the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store in Kent, Washington, you'll find this beautiful mural of the patron saint of the poor, St. Vincent de Paul. Commissioned in 2014, a local Latina artist and art students from area middle and high schools teamed up on the project. Too often, people short on cash and facing unexpected expenses turn to payday lenders. This one charges 600% interest. You heard me right, 600%. But Vincentians in Austin, Texas prefer a different way, as Michelle Wargo explains.
Nothing in comparison to these payday loans. I've never experienced anything like it.
Sean Wetzel speaks from experience. Like many Americans, this Austin, Texas man found himself in financial distress after unexpected life events left him drowning in debt. So he ended up looking for help in an all too common place, from a payday lender. The loans are also sometimes referred to as cash advances and often come with astronomical interest rates.
Took care of my grandmother. I helped take care of my grandmother with my mother, as a matter of fact, up until she passed in December. almost Christmas time. So it's been a struggle catching up. So it's just, from that point, I got behind on things. I borrowed, well, they got me $600 at first, and then $600 more about a month and a half later, because I thought I was gonna be able to pay that off. And then life came along, and I had car issues that, 2 cars, both of them failing pretty majorly.
Texans borrow more than $3 billion annually from payday lenders, not realizing that paying back those loans is a seemingly impossible task because of sky-high interest rates.
The payment, well, on $1,200 as it came to be, it was about $264 every 2 weeks.
He would be very typical, yes. Yes, he just got caught up in a need and was desperate and just took a loan he shouldn't have.
Sandra Dean has heard stories like Sean's time and again. A Vincentian with the conference at St. Helen Catholic Church in Georgetown, Texas, she's seen people make the mistake of taking these loans and not knowing how to escape. This is where the Council of Austin's Predatory Loan Conversion Program comes in. With the help from area credit unions, it helps people pay off their high-interest loans by securing much more reasonable low-interest loans.
I don't know of anything that can help, in many cases, much more than this. Because then they can gather their finances, they can pay their utilities, pay their rent. But with this thing hanging over their head, it's just impossible.
These people, when they get these loans paid off, I mean, they cry. They hug you, they send you emails to tell you how glad they are just to get out of these things.
Vincentian Matt Poger oversees the Predatory Loan Program and is proud of how the society worked with Sean.
He's working from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 at night. But he brings good money home, but guess what? He got in a situation where he needed some funds, and he went to a payday loan place to help take care of some issues that he had. And here he got caught up in a payday loan with almost 600%, interest on it.
In Austin and across the country, payday lenders attract people of all races, ages, education, and even all income levels.
I was going through a divorce and went from 2 incomes to 1 income. Could not make my car payment and other things. So that's when it all happened, that I went to a payday loan.
Martina Davila is another Texan who received help from St. Vincent de Paul when payday loans put her in financial straits.
I heard about it through a friend at work who we were just talking about what I had done, and then she just raised her eyebrows and said, "Oh, you're never going to get out of it." And so then she said, "Well, why don't you go to St. Vincent de Paul? Because they have this, they can loan you the money."
Martina says the process was easy, especially working closely with Vincentians who treated her with dignity and respect.
Actually, it was very simple. They put me in contact with a conference nearest to where I lived, and they did the intake, and we met, and everything was explained to me. And when I thought it was going to be very difficult, and first of all, asking for a loan, everybody knowing your business, and a bigger aspect of it. But they made me feel very comfortable. They were really nice, and they walked me through the whole process.
What we find is that I would say as much as 70% of the time, people are coming to us for rent help, for utility help, for food help, because they have a number of payday loans and they're sweeping their accounts on a monthly basis. So it is insidious in this community. It is the only place that many people have for ready cash.
James Davis is clearly passionate about what predatory loans are doing to the vulnerable in Austin. The spiritual advisor for the Diocesan Council of Austin says the Society's Predatory Loan Program helps foster long-term solutions to people in need.
We have always made room for both the systemic needs and the individual emergent needs. And this is making our Vincentians much more aware of that. but you feel like you can really make a difference once you find out they do have 3 or 4 payday loans, and that's what's causing them to call you repeatedly for help with rent. It puts a piece of the puzzle together for the Vincentian, and I think it gives us a little bit more direction around how we can help.
Building relationships for the long term reflects how Vincentians walk with those in need. At the same time, it's enhancing the spirituality of those aiding their brothers and sisters.
For a Catholic Christian, if we really follow the pathway of Jesus Christ, it's a pathway of emptying yourself of your own ego, the pieces of you that get in the way of love, so that you can fill up with the gratuitous love of Jesus Christ and let it pour out gratuitously to the neighbor in need.
Spiritually, that's what we're called to do, and it's hard to put it into words, I suppose, how you get more out of it. It's hard to put into words, but one has to just experience helping someone who's greatly in need, to know it's a humbling experience. It's not an ego-driven experience. It's very humbling to try to get down and talk about the payday loan and have them come forward and tell you what really happened. You've got to put your own ego aside and just listen. And that's powerful stuff.
And for those who received a financial lifeline, they often show their gratitude by helping others as well.
Every representative from St. Vincent de Paul has treated me with the utmost respect and very kind. I'm very grateful. It was a shot in the arm for me to kind of look, to be more positive. I'll tell you that for sure.
I feel relief, very much so. I'm very grateful for the Vincentians, and that's how I learned about all their spirituality, you know. That was the first time that I was in need and somebody turned to help me. Actually, I ended up applying for a job at the St. Vincent de Paul Society Council office, and that's how I got here.
Pulling people out of a black hole of debt and despair while putting them on a new path in life. Just another example of how the Society makes a difference in people's lives. For Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, I'm Michelle Wargo.
Thank you, Michelle. Vincentians in Austin tell us that since the program's inception in 2014, nearly 80% of the people that they have helped escape those high-interest payday loans have gone on to pay it forward by making good on their debt. We leave you with these words from St. Vincent de Paul, who said, "Say little, do much." Those are words that Vincentians here and around the country live by. From Seattle, for Our Faith in Action, today's Society of St. Vincent de Paul, I'm Paul Boron.